All right, let's get into our fourth game between these two players. Once again on Quasar Quartet. I haven't really commented too much on the map, but I guess we can probably do that in this game. Neblime in the bottom right. He is our neon carrot. Oh, no, it's vivid orange. I was going to say Persian orange, but actually I would have been wrong anyway. Vivid orange Protoss, and Shopdog is the yellow Terran in the top left. I will point out that Neblime, he likes winning. So he is going to try very, very hard to see if he can't figure this one out. Shopdog asking him the classic. Yeah, Neblime could make Grand Library. That's a big indicator for sure. We'll see how it goes. Just panning over the map, we've got the natural down here. Obviously, you guys have seen that. This is cross spawns just like game one. So we should be in for a bit of a longer game just based on that. Third base is kind of difficult to defend from the west, but if you're already monitoring the north choke, I think it's a pretty legit option. So nothing too indefensible about it. And then, of course, we have these positions over here, where there's the double gas bases in the Cardinal expansions. I think those are fine. Pretty interesting. It's similar to Blackwater Bastion in the way that it's designed, but obviously the whole center of the map is very different, and there are differences in the expansions. So, very, very different. All right, let's talk a little bit more about this series. But before we even do that, let's remind everybody that, again, I very much appreciate people who are tuning in, checking out Cosmonarchy. It is a good time, especially watching these two players, top players, duke it out. I know Neblime has yet to post a dub in the set, but I'm sure that will happen. Maybe not this game. We'll see. We'll see. I'll get the prediction going so you guys can check that one out. And vote yourself with your Twitch channel points. But if you're looking to support the stream, you're looking to support Cosmonarchy, go for the Streamlabs link, streamlabs.com/pronogo. It is in the chat. It is in the description box for YouTube and the Twitch panel. On Twitch, of course. Appreciate all the support. Thanks, homies. If we can do $50 a day every time I'm streaming, eventually, if we can build up to that, I could do this for the foreseeable future. Forever and ever. So just keep that in mind, guys. Neblime, I'm going to go ahead and go for a double gate opener. This is actually the first time that we've seen that. So that's going to be an interesting choice. Sausage giving instructions for loading a sieged Savant. And yeah, so you can only fit one of them. So kind of silly, but I'm sure that'll be used in some capacity. I don't know if you guys know this, but as a map maker, you can create a unit with cargo in it. So that's a good and easy option. Now this is exactly what I was hoping to see out of Neblime at some point. Mass Rakuten, see what you can do. Now the Apollyoid change from Acropolis does factor this in a little bit more. Damage extends the duration of the burn. It adds up more armor rend, it adds up a little bit more damage. So as the Hurricanes die, you do need to fall back because the Cyprian shots cease to penetrate. Cyprians can be pretty good versus Draconans. You're about to see that right here because Neblime did not micro that top stack very much. He was kind of splitting the other units instead. But he is slowly chipping away at the front line. And when it's only Cyprians, it's very, very difficult for them to hold off against the Draconans. Now, good micro from Dog, good target selection has helped him focus down individual units. You got 2 more Draconans on the way. When the anchor gets up, it's a little bit harder. Oh, that was a big mistake from Dog. Good thing that Neblime was not on the ball there. Retreating a little bit more. But the extra range that you get from inside an anchor definitely helps out here. But you can still do things with the Draconans. You can just cycle back and wait for shields. It's kind of what they're designed to do anyway. Ooh, 5 health missing. The HP buff giving 1 extra Draconan shot to the Cyprian. Actually impactful. Still, this is a lot more pressured than Dog has been previously, so it's going to be interesting to see how he cycles back. We're talking about 5 Draconans. We've got another one moving across the map. There's one holding up just in case of some kind of counter scout or anything that he needs to defend from. And he's going to go ahead and grab a Grand Library after his expansion. So, Neblime keeping in pace to some degree. His attack could have definitely been a little bit more successful, but I can't say that he bungled the micro too badly. So, pretty solid defense from Dog. This is also cross spawn, so it's kind of the worst case scenario for an early push like this. And it still ends up being, I think, an okay position. neither player is particularly advantaged right about now. Although, I guess you could say Dog is like slightly, and he has finished his second treasure, he's finished his quarry. He's going to start overtaking Neblime in terms of worker count. Well, he does need to repair that anchor at some point, though. One thing that's a very little known aspect of this, but Talos is repair faster than Masons. So you save money on repairs when you're using a Talos. Obviously, they're also a little bit more efficient as harvesters, so maybe you lose money when you're using Talos for that. Or whatever, maybe one hand washes the other, it ends up being the same thing, but either way, something worth pointing out. Dracodon stack very, very high now. Cycling back, taking pot shots, managing the count of the bio army. Remember, Dog likes to move out once his Covenant is finished, so this is going pretty well for him so far. A couple more Dracodons arrive just to off the rally, and it's going to trigger a response from Dog, only for a couple of his Hurricanes to get cleared, so really, there's going to be a point of critical mass from the Dracodons where he can just come in and continue to force the issue. I think if he gets a couple more reinforcements up there, that's a really big deal. Unfortunately, he is struggling a little bit there, and he's going to need to pick that Savant if he wants to do anything else. The debuff and buff does fall off after a time, so you can see that there's no increase in the attack speed any longer. But it's definitely something that is going to cause more issues the longer the Savant stack that has to scale up. So it looks like as soon as the Savant comes out, kind of like in StarCraft 1, where you see the Siege Tank come out and then the Dragoons start to fall back. Yeah, now now Neblime's just going to go ahead and cycle around with the Dracodon, stop these satellite bases from really coming together. And Amaranths are on the way with the Prostration Stage making Pariahs. Now you've got a backline in the Dracodons that will be able to snipe small numbers of these Savants. The problem is we're not going to have small numbers very soon. You know, we're still scaling the production. Denying the third base is good from Neblime. You can see him cycling over towards 12 o'clock just to make sure nothing fanciful is afoot. I don't think he can bust from this spot, and he is going to need to show what his transition point after this is. And it looks like it's just going to be more Pariahs. Remember, if Eidolons come out again, and some of them are starting to come into fruition, we've got one that's about to pop out of this stockade here. With the Anciel 4 detection, the Witness can't do anything. It just gets sniped. So we are going to need to see something a little bit different. You know, like, instead of this Prostration Stage, we could see Argosy for something. Solarians are really good versus Eidolon because the Stewards just decloak them by virtue of flying over them. And they do have a pretty good, like, healthy amount of durability that... I guess if you have a really critical Eidolon count, that's not really that helpful. But that's, like, one thing that comes to mind. Obviously, he could go Unitary, just skip the Prostration, go straight for Architect. That wouldn't suck either, since we saw how good those were, especially before the Terran army got so explosively out of hand. But I guess maybe Neblime's thinking he has enough of a mid-range fight with the Dracodons that he can take engagements and do things. I'm just not so sure that the answer is yes. Now I'm starting to think that Dog has the advantage again, despite the fact that Neblime has done a lot better in the early game. And I think a big deal is a big reason why is these Prostration Stages. The fact that we're still going for Pariah at this point. Neblime clinging to old traditions. Well, he's on patrol for any other satellite bases, but Taluses are starting to rain in over. Nexus nearly finishing up at 3 o'clock, and now we are going to see a little bit of an engagement. The Amaranth coming forward. At some point, Dog might consider just right-clicking that unit to get rid of it, because those frontline units are going to be a big problem. There's the deployment, just in time for the Treasury to come in as well. If he can snipe the Anciel, that would definitely help him out, but his embassy isn't even done yet, so Neblime doesn't have a dire need to do that. That's just good to, like, force gas expenditure on units that are not going to be super important for the combat. You can see him cycling forward. He actually hasn't lost any units yet. Just sniping individual Hurricanes. He could go after that Savant, and he will. Does take a little bit more hits than you'd think, and there's a Dracodon going down. But so far, this kind of trade is fine for Neblime. You know that most of his army is in one spot as well. Maybe this is a time where you think about going towards 9 o'clock with some units. And now he'll try to pounce on the Anciel. Down it goes. Very good. Leaving clear that Cyprian. Yeah, this is where Shopdog is. You can see his individual army movement is still a little bit whimsical. A little bit, could be a little bit better, to put it one way. Pariahs are starting to threaten. They can only really get the one shot or two shots maybe before they have to cycle back because of the Savant DPS. And the Eidolon count is also growing at the same time. So this is sort of what I was thinking. If you have like 5 Pariahs, maybe you can do something like that. You can't exactly wrap around here because it does take... It's like Demoloon-esque. We're trying to wrap around here is going to take a lot. Again, this base completely undefended. A single pariah there would definitely work wonders to shut down that base and cut Dog's income. He's floating a little bit, so I'm sure we'll see tier 2 soon or something of the sort, but he's on 4 bases. That's the critical thing, right? And the Nexus is not even close to being done for the 4th base for Neblime. So, again, reasonable army, but definitely needs to stop this kind of base from going up for free. Since his whole army was stationed here the entire time, send 1 or 2 pariahs, make it significant. But now that he kind of knows, right? Like, Neblime's aware of Dog's weaknesses as a player. He knows that he's going to send most of his units across the map. The only problem right now is that the Savants are gutting his attack speed so massively, and I don't think he's going to be able to do much else as the Hurricanes rejoin. He cleared a lot of Savants. That was very expensive for Dog, but he's not able to shut down the money. The money printer is in full force right about now. Sure, some Hurricanes go down for free, but now the Eidolons are here. You can't fight it anymore. You got to cycle back. Neblime's choice, as he shuts down another base that will force a cancel. Ancestral Archives. Optecton, old reliable. A couple of these Eidolons on the extremities. Definitely cycling a little bit too far forward, but I mean, trade 1 Eidolon for a pariah. I think you'll be fine with that. Yeah, there is a lot of Terran Bio right now, dwarfing the count of Neblime's forces. And normally, the Protoss has the advantage. They've got the ability to cycle through and get all of what they need. Needs to cycle through it. Yeah, it needs to bop that Ancil. Really, really good for Neblime. Now he can just fall back, and the Witness will continue to decloak things. There's not another Ancil on the way. Dog has so much money. Just kind of dealing with the little heckling that Neblime is doing. All these little army movements all the time. Better APM for Neblime. 2,000 minerals for Dog. We're starting to see his weaknesses getting more and more exposed the more games we see. We'll see if it's enough for Neblime to actually climb together with a victory, because I'd still say he's behind in this position. The worker count's pretty good for both players. Problem right now is, of course, that 4th base only just got saturated when it's been running for a much longer time for Dog. So he's got way more effective units. Still, he ends up queuing a couple of additional structures, adding more stockades, adding more bio, of course. 12 o'clock is also going to be heckled. I think it will stay alive because Neblime has not actually right-clicked it. Reinforcements heading on over towards 9 o'clock. That will also be stuffed. Nexus in the top right. Natural. Not a bad idea, but unfortunately for Neblime, Dog's army is in position. And we see a lot of units being made right now. Crucible to empower things. First up Tecton, about halfway complete. It should be able to get out of there. Good pathing, good base planning. Something that a lot of Protoss players struggle with. Neblime making sure that everybody knows he's not one of them. They're expensive, but engrams would probably be the best choice versus this composition. Try to thin the herd of the Hurricanes. This is definitely a bit strugglesome, but we'll see if Neblime can actually power through all of these Hurricanes. The answer is going to be no. There is Eidolon support. They're actually kind of sandwiching this harassment group, so that's going to be a couple dead Protoss units in the middle of the map. It looks like the Witness may have been dealt with as well in the process. I don't see another one. So, yeah, Tecton is going to have value. But the Hurricanes are in such number that I'm not sure that they can be of value. This is the big fight. This is what we've been building up towards this entire time, and I think Neblime would much rather have a couple more Optectons for it. The Pariahs are getting annihilated. And Optecton will release one more salvo. That will probably be its last one. Oh, it's cycling backwards. Yeah, it's not backwards enough. The Pariahs are doing okay. Remember, there's no more Savants to reduce attack speed. So in that position with the Eidolons all the way back there, the Pariahs were actually doing all right. But now it's a little bit too much. Still, the Eidolons are cycling back, but the Pariah, a couple more shots. Oh my god! Dog missing an opportunity to just kill that Pariah before he lost so many Eidolons. Reinforcements are coming in, and Dog has more units than he started the fight with. So let's be real, his stockade production is absurd. Second up Tecton arriving, but you can't so quickly reproduce all of those Pariahs. They were irreplaceable. We got some Zealots coming now, of all things, which, honestly, I think any sort of melee that you can field at this point is probably a good idea. A Patriarch has arrived. A second Ancestral finishing up pretty soon. A third up Tecton will be coming out. Man, it feels like Dog could just decide to ignore this army fight and go after the juicy bases, but instead he's trying to win the game outright, which is not necessarily what you need to do. Yeah, I hate my own prostration stage. I don't know why Neblime did that, but that's okay. Goober. Goober moment. Tier 2 now started. 15 minutes in. I can't believe I have to go Tier 2. Treasury off center slightly. Talus don't mind too much. 12 o'clock has been secured as the 5th base. Meanwhile, top right, the domain of Neblime, also on 5 bases. And I think Dog is aware of this. He's just got pure Eidolon Hurakan. It does feel like he might be getting outscaled pretty soon. Some gateways for a wall, some wardens here to slow things down. The army's still all the way down here in the bottom right, so they're going to take a long time to get over here. Thankfully, this ocean of yellow streaming on in towards the top right is going to give him a lot of room and a lot of opportunity. But it looks like as the workers cycle up over to the top right, they are going to end up getting cleaned out. The question is, can Neblime annihilate the army or do some other counter damage? Because he's losing his 5th base. His workers are kind of slowly drip feeding into the bottom. And it doesn't look like... Okay. So I see a couple of things here I want to comment on, but it doesn't look like Shopdog wants to stick around. The Optectons are ranging him down. The Pariahs are here as well. They have a lot of health to chew through, regardless of the armor end from things like the Hurakans. So this is definitely an okay position here. But look at the surround! The Ahmed surround is real! Hurakans coming in from every angle! Oh, Shopkeeper Dog's playing Zerg right now, and Neblime, he does not have his Mind Tyrants to try to turn the tide just yet. It's going to be a while before those Uptectons can start controlling the Terran army. Yeah, I don't think you're going to finish that cast, buddy. Popped like a balloon. And I think Neblime just barely was not able to get enough done. 5 Optectons for a moment. 2 more are finishing up soon. The Eidolons are starting to range them down, though, and, well, maybe there's a small chance. Oh, my God, the Witness! The Witness reveals them! And just like that, the Bio army crumbles. Man, I really thought, and credit to these 2 Drakons, killing so many Masons, so many Taluses, and denying the 6th base this entire time. Top right has been sort of established, but that's not exactly a running base. 6 o'clock being taken by Neblime. More Mind Tyrants on the way. That is cutting into Pariah production. He needs to cycle these Uptectons up to save these ones, it feels like. We still don't have detection for Shopdog. He's transitioning into captaincies. He's adding a Tinkerer's Tower. He wants to get access to those ever-important Strigas and Sirens. If he gets some Strigas out, he will absolutely have a better chance at dealing with things like the Uptectons. Worker transfers spotted towards 6 o'clock. That might clue Dog into where we're going. This is a banger. We're going places, guys. Nexus established at 6 o'clock in just a moment. I love that only now Neblime is thinking, I should probably get some more Vespene. That's so wild. 2 Draconids will finally be dealt with, allowing a treasury to land at the bottom left natural. Triple Mind Tyrant. So we are going to see those Uptectons start to turn the bio armies. Oh no, he casted it on a Draconid. That's not what you wanted. That's alright. He can be a champion too. Some of these Hurakans will start to turn tail, turn the tide. Still no tier 2 for anything out of Dog. The Uptectons trying their best. They're very well supported right now. The Draconid's trying to allow for that extra meat shield, but he's kind of moving his whole army together at once, and he needs to move the Draconid separately, it feels like. Finally! Finally some of the Hurakans start to turn over. And just like that, wow. The army swing is real. Strigas are only now on the field. They're pretty fast moving. They take a while to go down. But the Uptectons are definitely going to make melee a hard ask. Top right and third being taken by Dog. Coexistence is possible. At least for a moment. You can see him cycling over to the other side. Oh, the Mind Tyrants are kind of loose off to the side. If the Eidolons can pick them, that's a much easier fight. We don't have any air units coming for Dog. His bank is enormous. He could be cycling up to so much more. And Neblime's not being very attentive to his Mind Tyrants. Let's be real right now. So there's plenty of opportunities, it felt like, for the Eidolons to do something there. Not many tyrannized units at the end of the day. I guess he's cycling them around to try to heckle stuff. And the Matrix is on the mineral line ledge. Neblime's so dirty. 2 Stargates on the way as well for him. I wonder what he's planning with that. You can tell Neblime's definitely taking command of the game. Just look at the military count. He's got more than Dog. And these Mine Tyrants are being ignored. There were so many Eidolons that could have focused them down, but not to be. GG. Hard to do so when there's so much in your face. And there you have it. We've got a Neblime victory posted.